We are Gold Ivy.
Our mission is to empower you to own and unleash your truth.
Stories of resiliency are gold, and ivy grows in hard places.
Those hard places are what creates space for light to shine through.
You decide what works for your daily life and how to transform our lessons into your gold.
This is Ivy Unleashed,
a Gold Ivy production.
Today's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Every episode of Ivy Unleashed is dedicated to empowering you to take ownership of your health. And what it really comes down to is prioritizing your mental health.
We've both seen the beauty and growth that therapy can bring and are thrilled to partner with BetterHelp to allow you the opportunity to feel heard and seen by a professional. The National Alliance on Mental Health reports that 155 million people live in a designated mental health professional shortage area, and BetterHelp is working to close that gap.
I've personally used BetterHelp and loved it because it was all online, making it super convenient. The biggest piece for me was how affordable it is. I was able to choose the therapist that met my needs. I came in with wanting to work on childhood trauma and anxiety, and it was unbelievable to see how many options I had with all the different backgrounds of therapists.
With BetterHelp, you have access to a network of over 30,000 licensed and experienced therapists. Therapy is all about deepening your self-awareness. And sometimes we can't see our own patterns and behaviors until we talk them out and get an unbiased perspective.
It's really nice to have someone who doesn't know you and has the professional background to help you thrive in your daily life. It has made the world of a difference with every relationship in my life, including the one with myself.
To get started, all you have to do is fill out a brief questionnaire about your needs and preferences and choose your therapist out of the options they give you. You can talk to your therapist however you feel comfortable, whether it's via text, chat, phone, or video call. Also, you can switch therapists at no additional charge until you find the right fit for you.
The best investment you can make is in yourself. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/goldivy. That's betterhelp.com/goldivy.
Take the first step to inner peace and freedom today. And now to this episode of the Ivy Unleashed podcast.
Good morning, Ivy Unleashed fam.
Afternoon, evening.
Wherever you're tuning
Wherever
in.
you're tuning in.
It's morning here. It's a beautiful Thursday morning.
Yes.
And I have the ability to be here because this is my first week out of corporate America. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a good week.
I was honestly just thinking it was Tuesday because that's typically when Brooke would start later in the day. So we would record on Tuesdays. And when you said Thursday, I'm like, yes, we can hang out on Thursday mornings now. So exciting. This has been like the dream of Brooke and I starting Gold Ivy 3-ish years ago was like, let's be able to quit our corporate jobs and solely focus on our mission of empowering people with Ivy Unleashed and then whatever comes from there. Mm-hmm. And here we are. Cheers to that.
Cheers, baby.
Great day.
Feels good. So this is proof in the pudding that whatever you set your mind to, you can make it happen. And about 2-3 months ago now, I was sitting at a restaurant with my boyfriend before a Timberwolves game saying like, there's a million ways to get to one destination. The destination is free up my days so I can work on my dream. And he said, why don't you serve? Replace your income that way. And I said, okay. And shout out to our Move member, Kirsten, who had a connection. And so I'm serving at night and working on this bad boy during the day. Came from the restaurant, got home at 10:30, woke up this morning. But it's fun to just run around a restaurant and it's good people. Older clientele who are very complimentary and just like sweet and fun. And so it's been fun. It's a new chapter. We're excited. So there's, again, a million ways to get to the same destination. Just takes being creative. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it's always never how you think.
Yeah. And to me, it feels like such a fresh start. Like we had a business meeting after I got back from vacation. Brooke now is not in her job. So it's like we have this blank slate of what we want our life to look like. And so much when you do that, you know, it makes me feel like the reset that we have. It's like a new quarter, it's a new month, it's a new week. Like whatever it is, that newness really feels like an opportunity. Mm-hmm. And what we're going to talk about today is changing your mind, challenging yourself, changing your mind, kind of what goes into when, you know, if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably striving for something. You're into personal development. You want a bigger life. You want to take care of yourself. You want to improve something, right? And so you, the listener, you see that we're always challenging ourselves. And we want to talk about why and just the mindset that goes into that. When you do need to reevaluate, you do need to quit or change your mind or get realigned, and all that goes into that, because it is such a mind game when you have these high hopes and dreams and then life happens.
Like, such a mind game.
It happens so much. Like, you have to account for life and know that it's going to happen. And if you resist, like me last night, I've been wanting to get up at 5 a.m., get more consistent with that now that I'm back from vacation. It's like, I have 3 kids and I cannot control them. My daughter was in my room from 3 a.m. until 7:30, so scared for her life. And so I'm like, I can't get up at 5. Like, I was up for so much and I could be mad about it. And it affected my mood, to be honest. And then I feel bad that I wasn't as chipper with my kids and
And again,
so,
a mind game.
Yes.
It's like the mind game of you have the intention, but then life happens. So how do we hold room for grace because life happens, but also like, no, I'm going to do this. This is important. The grit piece is, how do you hold space for both?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I know I don't know when you started this. You challenged yourself again. You're in the midst of a big challenge.
Yeah. Before I decided to put my 2 weeks in, it was getting to the point where like I was feeling burnt out. I was so tired, like working 3 jobs. I was already at the restaurant trying to figure out if I could do this. And I wasn't working out as much and I wasn't taking care of myself, prioritizing the foundational wellness habits that we talk about. And a lot of those foundational wellness habits are in 75 Hard. I know if I have the challenge, I'm going to show up for it. I'm going to try. Even if I don't go all the way through, like something happens, like last time I made it to day 47, I got bacterial infection, things hit the fan, I had to stop, I had to take care of my health. But I still had 47 days of me intentionally showing up for myself, and I felt really freaking good. And so, yes, the goal is to finish it, but sometimes you just need that spark, that momentum to get going, something that's like new and exciting. And so for me, I was like, okay, I'm going to retry 75 Hard. It was so nice in Minnesota. And then we got a snowstorm. It's like, you left at the perfect time. That was not a part of the plan. But just getting outside, figuring out, okay, where in my day am I taking care of me? How am I tracking my water? Doing these things. A lot of similar habits that are in our reset. So like April 1st was my first day out of my corporate job. It was the first day of our reset. It's just funny how everything kind of aligns and timing wise. So yeah, I'm on day 23 this time around of 75 Hard. Walked in a snowstorm. You've been super supportive. Nope, I'll walk with you. Ian, my boyfriend, he does the workouts with me. And I think this time around it feels easier because I'm giving myself grace in the sense of 2 walks counts as 2 workouts. Walking on my indoor treadmill while I'm watching Buying Beverly Hills, that freaking counts. And so having a different view on these are things that I want to do forever. Like I want these to be a part of my identity. And right now I'm just going to be really, I don't want to say strict, but really intentional about tracking them so I can build that habit. Because now like with water intake, it's not hard. But if I don't track it and I don't write it down, I don't remember.
Yeah. I feel like 75 Hard is like the extreme version of the ultimate reset where we weave in rejuvenation and play and all these things where it like doesn't have to be outside. It's moving your body. Right. And then we provide the workouts and everything. And for me, like thinking about what we provide within it is this support group, right? Where we're talking about our habits. We're encouraging you every day in our Facebook group, which is so needed, right? And that's what we see with 75 Hard. Like you just said, a huge piece of it is me walking with you or Ian being supportive. Like you need that. You need it. And so that's why we provide it too. But as you're talking, I think there's 2 things that come to mind with any challenge. It's the mindset around like, I'm going to do it this time. And you put so much pressure on like the completion of it, which is important. You need that fire. You need that drive. You need that like, I'm going to do this. You need to decide. And that is a huge part of a challenge is like, I'm deciding on something and there's a reason for it. And I need to stay connected to why it's so important for me to take care of myself. And you decide what that challenge is. It could be anything. And as you go, I see and I hear from what you're saying and from what I've experienced, it's so much about learning. Okay, what didn't go well last time? What happened last time? Okay, your body tried to tell you something last time, right? And it was a tough time of year. It was really cold and there was a lot going on. You had multiple jobs. And I think that happens in the midst of challenges sometimes, whether it's your kids or your body or a circumstance in your family, where you have to learn in the midst of this that it doesn't have to be all or nothing. Like, this challenge doesn't define who I am, but there's a purpose for it. And I chose it because I needed something. I want to feel a certain way. So if you backtrack to that, like, what is that feeling? What is it I'm really desiring? Is it discipline? Is it just feeling good? Is it feeling like I've got habits that I can really follow through with, or I'm going to learn this time the way that this works best in my hectic life? Just learning along the way. And I think that kind of takes the pressure off of like, I suck. No, I'm learning. And
Totally.
I'll do it a different way tomorrow or next time I do this challenge. But it doesn't mean I failed.
I think discipline is a big, big piece of it. We know what makes us feel good. And so why is it so hard to stick to it? Like, we talk about self-sabotage and we talk about your systems in place and your social support. And how do we stay disciplined in those things we know make us feel good? And that's one of the beautiful things that a challenge provides. So backing it up to 2 months ago now, 3 really, when I started seeing a new functional doc, Andrea came with me, had that whole experience, and I got even more clarity on what was going on in my body. I know the way I need to eat to heal my body. Doesn't mean it's easy, but with 75 hard, having to stick to a diet, for me, it's not restricting myself. It's, okay, for 75 days, you're going to stick to this type of eating that you know makes you feel so good. And by doing that, what could shift? What would be better? Like for me right now, I'm 23 days in, and that looks like I'm doing kind of a Whole 30-ish diet where I am eating whole real foods. I'm staying away from grains and legumes and corn and really added sugar. And so I know that this isn't a forever thing, but if I can be really, again, there's the word strict, but intentional about it right now, what would be different? Like, how could I allow my body to heal even more and kind of jumpstart this process? Because I do feel like I'm in really good hands for the first time with a provider that I'm seeing who has me on different supplements and different protocols in a way that it isn't so overwhelming on my body. It's a very gentle approach. I feel like I'm not trying to grasp for answers and for help. It's like, no, I've got my system down and I just need to stick to it. And having this challenge to come back to each day of, okay, did I do this? Did I do that? Am I being intentional with these habits? Yes. Okay, move on. It kind of like takes the decision making out of it. You know, you go to a restaurant and you're like, am I going to order a drink? Am I not? I don't know. Like, that energy that it takes, that decision fatigue almost, the negotiation. And that's the same thing with exercise. My alarm goes off and it's like, okay, I've got an hour before I need to get up and get ready and I got to get my outdoor walk in. There isn't that negotiation in my head of, should I not? It's like, nope, do it.
This is the time.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that negotiation because that happens, right? We're really disciplined for a while and then we're like, I don't care. I changed my mind. You know?
Right.
Which this year you did decide to try alcohol. You were going to go the full year and you made a decision. You had some negotiation. And so I think we should talk about that. Like, when you're in the midst of something, you're like, screw it. Or I don't care. Or I decided to change my mind about it.
This is important. If you are sick of spending money on product after product for your face, this is for you. I've spent so much time, money trying to find the perfect skincare line when really all I needed was clean ingredients and something that actually did the trick. And that's where the Golden Secret skincare line comes into play.
All right. What products are you using now that you love?
It's been a few years now of regularly using the Golden Secret's Heal All Oil, and my skin has never looked better. I spent years struggling with acne, and I'm so thankful Jessie Golden created the Heal All Oil. I use it both morning and night as my cleanser, and it's safe to say oil cleansing is where it's at. Clean and simplicity are what's most important to me, and the Heal All Oil
And every Golden Secret product is just that.
I love when people share what and why they use skincare products. I finally created a habit with the combo of the Sorcerer's Stone Gua Sha tool and the Heal All oil. I'm already seeing more definition in my jawline and cheekbones, which is so exciting. Jessie also provides tutorials on exactly how to use all her tools and products, and I'm telling everyone because I know it can be so overwhelming to start.
If you're up for trying a new skincare ritual that doesn't harm you or the environment, but instead works in harmony to awaken it, The Golden Secrets is available at thegoldensecrets.com. We're thrilled to tell you about this amazing company and give you a discount code for your future The Golden Secrets purchases.
Yes, use code GOLDIVY for 10% today and keep watching us at Gold Ivy Health Co. on all social channels as we continue sharing our results with the Golden Secrets skincare line. You can find the link and code in the show notes of this episode.
Dre, tell the people as fast as you can why Move with Gold Ivy is the last mind-body fitness program they'll ever have to buy, and how women are finally getting the transformation they're looking for.
I love a challenge. Let's go. 2 big things. 1, Move provides a fun atmosphere to work out in that actually gets you excited to show up and follow through with your goals. Not only is there an element of fun, but we've carefully curated a program that makes it as easy as possible for women to take care of themselves. And 2, a Move membership addresses every aspect of your health, mind and body. Our Move members are getting the physical transformation they've been hoping for and feeling like they've finally found the group that motivates them on a daily basis. What did I miss?
As a Move member, you receive a weekly workout plan, weekly live or Zoom workouts, an on-demand workout library, transformational quarterly reset challenges, monthly coaching calls, monthly masterminds with health experts, and a private group of motivated members for support and accountability.
It's ready for you when you're ready to boost your metabolism, confidence, and feel your absolute best. Join Move or learn more by clicking the link in the show notes, clicking the link in our bio on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok, or by messaging us on any social channel at Gold Ivy Health Co.
It's your time. Move for your health, move for your confidence, move for your mental clarity, move with Gold Ivy.
I think it's going back to learning, right? Like for me to say it's the absolutes I've found that get me in trouble. When I say I'm never doing this or I'm always doing this, I'm going to be this way, like I'm setting myself up for failure. And I am someone who, being self-aware, like I know that I put a lot on my plate and I go after it. And then I'm like, oh shit, it's just who I am. I like to get excited. And then I'm like, what did I just commit to? And I think that's okay. Like, it's just a part of my personality. It doesn't make me a crappy person that I can't always follow through. Again, celebrating the intention of like, I really want to go this whole year without drinking. And then you see everyone around you is drinking and you're like, okay, well, I've done a lot of work to heal my body. Like maybe my liver can handle it. Maybe I am in a different spot. Let me tell you, it did not go well. I didn't feel good. Like I had a few drinks and it just wasn't it. But that's not to say I'm never going to drink again. But I do feel like that was a part of me doing 75 Hard again was I almost need this reason to not drink right now.
And I think there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I think there's nothing wrong with admitting that when everyone around you is doing something that you've told yourself that you're not going to do, it's really hard. And sometimes you say, you know what? I want to be a part of the group tonight. I want to have a cocktail. And it might not make me feel the best. But like in this moment, it doesn't make me anything. It doesn't mean anything about who I am and my integrity if I change my mind in this moment. And of course, there's a learning lesson in all of it. But it's the absolutes, like you said, where that is not life. It can be for 75 days, sure. But like life, I'm going to keep saying this, life is going to happen. And we are wired to want to connect with people. And this doesn't have to be alcohol. It could be like, I was going to go for a run, but then that would mean I have to run and then I shower. And all my friends are hanging out and they're going to have a random happy hour at a house. Like I could go to it when I'm done with everything, but I want to miss out on that time with my friends I haven't seen because I was on vacation. You know, an example like that where sometimes you change your mind and sometimes you shift and you pivot. And I think taking that pressure of I failed, or this means I suck, or this means I'm not good at this, or I'm this type of person. You're not defined by a moment, or you're not defined by this pivot in your challenge.
I think we beat ourselves up.
Yeah.
Right? Like we don't follow through with our word like that. I'm totally guilty of that. And so then it's the shame and the blame that we put on ourselves. Like no one around us. People aren't being like, oh my God, you drank and you said you weren't going to for a year. And I'm like, duh, like it's me that's beating myself up. Right. And when you're saying what you're saying, what I'm hearing is even more reason of who are you surrounding yourself with? Because if you are doing a challenge, if this is important to you, but your whole circle is out partying, maybe in this moment when you're doing this challenge, this part of life, you need to get people in your circle who are doing the things and that you want to be doing and are supporting you.
Mm-hmm. And it could be them asking you about it. It could be them participating with you. Like, hey, tonight when we're together, let's both try and have 4 glasses of water while we're together. Like we never drink water when we're together. Like it's something so simple, but it can change just like a little bit of the culture of your friendship or your relationship. Or ask me if I washed my face last night. Like I'm going to send you a check mark in the morning if I did it. Or please don't bring brownies to my house because I'm going to eat them. You're going to leave them here and I'm going to eat them all, which I mean, whatever, the brownies. But if you're really striving for something because you want to build that discipline muscle, you've got to communicate it with your people and think about who are the ones that are kind of tough to be around when I'm doing this. And what is that? Is it in my head? Am I making it up that it's hard? Are they intentionally making it hard for me? And what is that? It's just getting curious. You don't have to blame anybody, but it is so much a mind game, a mindset thing where you can be grateful for these little hiccups of, oh, I didn't realize that was the thing that always makes me falter. Or when I do this for too long, maybe 75 days is too long. 30 days is more your jam or a week or, whatever it might be. Determining the lesson you learned in that and just having gratitude that, oh, okay, I didn't know that before. Cool.
I think there's something fun too. Maybe this is just my coach brain, nerdy brain, but having a challenge you can come back to, that was the idea of the reset of what we have once a quarter, because there are those moments where you're like, God, I need to realign. I need to reset. My mental health is struggling. Summer just happened. We're not in our routine. The brain thrives off of a routine. It thrives off of these habits. Yes, these habits we're talking about within 75 hard, right? Of drinking water, of moving your body, eating healthy, not drinking alcohol. They affect your physical body, absolutely. But for me, it's my mental health. And with leaving my corporate job, stepping into a new chapter that I keep thinking it's this unknown, but everything's unknown. Nothing is secure. It's just a game. Let me play a fun game here. But it's going to require some discipline of, okay, I've got my days open now. How do I want to manage my time? Because this is on me now. So having this discipline within personal habits, healthy habits, it's going to translate into the business too. It all comes back to, like we said, mindset. Where is your mindset? And having a challenge that's going to force you to be disciplined helps with that mental health piece, helps with your mindset.
Well, and why we created it is so you can come back to it. Like you're saying, that life happens. And so if you want to be on the same timeline as our group, as our members, you can be a Move member, and we'll do this every quarter and encourage you every day. And then you get all of your workouts included in everything. But if you're like, I want to just be able to choose when I look at this, I want to just one time buy your course. We have the Ultimate Reset course so that anytime you need it, so it might not be right at the start of the quarter, you just want to come back to it whenever you want. We're going to put the link in the show notes so that you have it, so that you can access it whenever you want. And what we like about the course is that when you're doing something like this, you want to know the why behind it. You want to understand, okay, the reason, like these 2 coaches and fitness trainers, why they put these specific habits in here. What's the why behind it? Why am I really doing this? And then to have what we did in the course is not just have you reading something that's so boring. We have a video on every page that's us like cheering you along and getting you hyped up and getting you amped up and making you laugh and being silly, where this doesn't have to be so serious.
No. And it needs to feel doable. Right? For me, I would buy these programs, and it would be, okay, here's your workouts, and it's super specific and it's super hard. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, within like a week, I'm like, no, thank you. This is, how are we getting in enough water? And how are we moving our body daily? And how are we incorporating play and rejuvenation? Or to feel like if there was a sustainable, fun, healthy program, it is this. And that's why we created it.
Yep.
Because there has to be room for fun.
Yes. Who doesn't want to have fun and
No.
push yourself? Like pushing yourself and challenging yourself, that is where fulfillment and confidence comes. You can't, if you want to just be a vegetable on a beach somewhere when you're 80, cool, good for you. But in this time of life, when we are modeling behavior for children, when we are trying to figure out what our future looks like, when we're trying to feel good about ourselves, there needs to be this sense of fulfillment. And for me, I truly believe that is showing yourself what you're capable. It could be the simplest thing, but that's why we created it, so that you can have that. So as you're pushing yourself, you're also finding gratitude in the midst of it. You're taking care of your mental health. You're thinking about food. You're thinking about all these little pieces that just keep elevating how you can feel and what you can show yourself you're capable of.
I love it. So how are you challenging yourself in this season?
Oh, I love that question. Well, I need to pick a marathon. The only one I have this year so far that I haven't booked is mid-November. Savannah. I just found out I did not get into New York City Marathon. That's a bummer. It's really hard to get in. It's a lottery, if you didn't know.
Next year.
I hope so. I'm just going to keep trying till I get in, because I've heard it's like that energy is just phenomenal.
Also timing.
And this time of year, I always do this right around April. I get really pumped. It's like the spring cleaning in me. I want to declutter my home more, get ready for a garage sale, purge all the stuff. Whenever I do that, so many great things happen in our business too. It's like you make room for more.
So I freed up my days.
Whether it's like more money, or if it's more clarity, if it's more energy. Like when I get rid of, it's like what's in your space is a reflection of what's going on in your mind. If there's too much stuff, it's just like, it's overwhelming. So for me, I really want to, I'm feeling, I just got super organized after this trip, and I'm loving how it feels to be back in my space and like have that, like everything's clean and taken care of. It just feels so good. And I think that just helps you with how you carry yourself, how you decide what your next move is, whether it's personally or professionally. I'm really excited to plan more vacations. And what comes with that is so much excitement, and it raises my vibration. And I realize the more I think about travel, the more I plan another trip, the more I think about it, it means I'm taking better care of my body. It means I'm taking better care of my mind. It means I'm asking my kids and getting excited with them about what we want to do next. And that's just like, I'm realizing how big that is in my life. It makes everything better when I'm thinking about where I'm going.
I think you should always have a trip planned.
I mean,
even if it's like,
I do.
Right. But just like a life hack here. Even if it's something where you're not spending a lot of money, like traveling cheap, just having something to look forward to is so, so needed. Maybe
and who
it's
you're
just
doing it with.
Yes. Maybe it's a winter thing of like needing to get out. But I think that is one of the greatest hacks of life.
Well, and there's so much that goes into that, right? It's like all you dream about is whoever you think of when you think of like, God, I just love them so much. I just want time with them. When you think about it, it just makes you so excited to think about just me and him, or me and my kids, or me and my bestie that are like, when you and I went on that road trip to Oklahoma, like we were both so looking forward to just uninterrupted time to like talk about what we wanted to talk about. And I so looked forward to it. And Brooke was very afraid of how long this road trip was going to be, but I knew it was going to fly. I was like, we're going to play good music. We're going to be dancing.
It was 10 hours in a car, if you're wondering.
Yeah.
One way.
And I loved it.
It was fine. It went fast.
It was fine. Wow.
I mean, the car ride, like that amount of time was fine. Like,
yeah,
time with you was wonderful. It was great. I was blessed. I've never been so grateful for anything in my life. I'm saying the 10-hour car ride.
You're like, but also put me in first class on an airplane. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's so true though. But that's like, for me, how I challenge myself is like, I always have a big thing in mind, and it's like a magnet that pulls everything with it. It's like, okay, how am I going to challenge myself to make sure I feel like I've got integrity about my business and about being a mom? Because like, that's what gives me anxiety. Like I feel like this last year and a half has been so much about Why am I anxious? Is it alcohol? Is it how I think about myself? Is it, do I need more therapy? Do I need more coaching? I've done like a big, I feel like, experiment with a lot of things in my life. And by going on these specific vacations recently and having some alcohol or being away from home or like whatever, I'm so observant of like, what is it in me that's stirring up this heart rate? Yeah. And it's the two biggest jobs in my life. It's being a mom and wanting to be present and available and excited with them and listen to them. And that requires so much. Like, I have to be well. I have to take care of my health to be that person. So that's where the 75 hard comes in and the marathons come in and all the things that like take care of my mental health and the therapy, whatever. And then with alcohol, I feel like that I have a physiological reaction, but it's so much about what's going on in my mind. And it's the pressure of being an entrepreneur, not wanting to let you down and wanting to like feel like I'm giving my best. And I think when you're hungover, you can't, so it's just like anything else. There has to be some grace in it. Like every once in a while you want to have some drinks with friends, knowing maybe I plan it out a little bit better. Maybe I really let loose on vacation and like, it's just me and my husband in Mexico. Who cares? Not having to take care of any kids. I know I'm unplugging tomorrow for work. And so I wouldn't have any anxiety. And so I think, like I was saying, it's all about learning. It's all about understanding yourself. And in the midst, having gratitude for the lessons that sometimes are hard to learn. And you can beat yourself up about it. Or you can say, I'm going to pivot. I'm going to change my mind a little bit. I'm going to give myself grace. And I'm not going to stop messing up. If you call it that, I'm going to have a new perspective after the next time I make a different decision. And if we continually beat ourselves up for not doing it perfectly, life is going to suck and be way harder than it needs to be.
Yeah. I think the mindset shift of this is just a game and we're just playing the game of life and seeing what we learn along the way, that's freeing in itself. And normalizing changing your mind. There was a time where I didn't complete 75 hard and I was like, okay, I need 75 soft. Like we recorded a whole episode on it. And in that time I was like, my body does not need this. And then I changed my mind because things shifted and I think that's okay. And in this episode, we want to make it clear that it's okay to change your mind. It's okay to challenge yourself. We both love challenging ourselves. People around us are like, oh God, you're doing another challenge. Like, sorry, you're doing 75 hard again. I'm like, you know what? I am. And I love it. And I love to challenge myself. And I love to learn about myself. And when it's in all good and fun and about you feeling your best, like no one can take that away. No one can shame me or make me feel bad for figuring out what do I need in this season of life to feel okay. And I hope you took that away listening to this episode of what is that for you? What do you need right now to challenge yourself? What do you need to change your mind about? Maybe you're ready to make the leap on a decision that you've been going back and forth. You're negotiating in your mind. Like, stop the negotiation, decide, and move on.
Beautifully said. And I just want to thank everybody for being in this space with us. To challenge yourself requires some extra effort. And you are just like, be proud of yourself for trying new things, for having the grace for yourself. I think what Brooke just said, I couldn't have said it better myself. It is such a beautiful experience to be in this life, to be this healthy, to be able to like have the privilege to even think about these goals. This is so fun. I'm so excited to see what this year brings, this new quarter brings. And feel free to lean on us. We have taken this experience and created something that can really be helpful for you. A course that you can access whenever you want. Use one-time purchase, put in the show notes. But also, if you want to be a Move member, that means you'll have access to this kind of energy all the time where we're encouraging you, we're pushing you, and it's in addition to the podcast. It's things that nobody else has access to unless you're a Move member. So we'll put both links in the show notes. If you have questions, message us. You don't have to just like buy something. Ask what you like, tell us what you need and what you're wanting. We're always tailoring what we offer too. And so we are here for you. The whole purpose behind what we're creating is to serve you and to help you empower yourself, to take ownership of your life, to give yourself grace and have fun along the way. So we'll plug everything in the show notes and feel free to message us too.
Beautiful. Okay, this quote couldn't be more perfect. Are you ready for your piece of gold?
Yes.
All right. Amita Parikh says, if you have a setback, you rest. Then one day, probably sooner than you think, you wake up ready to try again.
This is Gold Ivy signing off.
Listen to your truth and go chase your gold.
We want to thank you and encourage you to celebrate yourself for taking the time to learn and get inspired in your one beautiful life. And if this podcast means something to you, it would mean so much to us if you'd be willing to take 30 seconds to help support our mission to keep bringing you inspiring stories and guests.
First, following the podcast is important because it helps you never miss an episode. To do this, just go to the Ivy Unleashed podcast show page on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts, and then just tap the plus sign in the upper right-hand corner or click on follow.
While you're there, if you'd be so kind to give us a 5-star rating and review and share your favorite episode with a friend, we'd be so grateful for your support.
We are thrilled you're here and are so happy that you're taking time to prioritize your wellness, self-discovery, and growth with us.